non-political. So I think Bassett's different to anywhere else in Britain in that context.
Sonia, you disagree with that?
I do, actually. I have to say, I do think it is a political issue, and I think what's happened is that Islam for UK have been left with no choice in many respects, because more moderate Muslims, they don't feel able to honour, their own war dead, because they're worried about putting a step wrong. And I do think that there is some importance about placing them in Wootton Bassett. I haven't said that I don't support Islam for UK at all, but I absolutely categorically support their right to march.
Even in Wootton Bassett?
Even in Wootton, probably especially in Wootton Bassett, I have to say, because from their perspective, they're seeing people who are honoured for what they perceive as genocide. There's 100,000 civilian Muslims, parents and children who are being murdered.
Moderate Muslims up and down the country are coming out today and they're saying we don't want Mr Chowdhury to go through Wootton Bassett. The Wiltshire Council of Muslims and the Welsh Council of Muslims and others have all said this is totally inappropriate politicisation of what is a little quiet piece of honouring. We'd like to see the Muslims around Britain paying their respects to the people who died in Afghanistan. We don't care about that at all. We're delighted they do, and we understand Mr.
Harry Turner in Worksop, Nottinghamshire, says we can't stop this march, they have the right to do it. They're trying to wind people up, so we should all just ignore it. It's just an announcement, and it's not even going to be a march, and there's no plan. That does start to look a little bit cynical, doesn't it?
Well, that's iffy, isn't it? But that isn't the position I'm coming from. I mean, obviously you're aware of the Facebook campaign, which has now, I believe, reached nearly 200,000 people campaigning against it. But if you actually read that Facebook campaign, those people are no better than Anjem Chowdhury in a lot of respects. They're actually all extremists and they're supremacists in many respects, as indeed he is. I am all for the fact that people have a right to...
If he has a march, this Mr Chowdhury, if he has a march in Wootton Bassett, we will drive there, regardless of the weather, and I will be vigorous in my protest. I think it's an absolute outrage. I'm not an extremist. I'm not...
This afternoon about how we can get it stopped. It mustn't go ahead. If by any chance it did, and I've just been up and down Wootton Bassett High Street this morning, I know what the people will do. They're good, sensible, down-to-earth people in Wootton Bassett. They'll go into their houses and they'll close the curtains and they'll turn their back and they'll ignore this rather foolish person, this rather foolish protest down the High Street. But what would worry me, Jeremy, would be that people, possibly extreme groups from elsewhere around the country, would come to Wootton Bassett. It would become a spark point. So I think the police, just in the interests of public order, would be well advised to say to Mr Chowdhury, look, I'm very sorry, we can't allow this particular protest to go ahead.
Thank you very much, Steve, for joining us. James Gray, Conservative MP for North Wiltshire, which includes